In this dedication of a nation, we humbly ask the blessing of God. May He protect each and every one of us. May He guide me in the days to come. Here we go. Congress has been called into a special 100-day session. This is where I'm going to implement my New Deal. My New Deal is all about the 3 R's. Relief for the people out of employment, recovery for businesses and the economy as a whole, and reform of the American economic institutions. This all starts with my banking holiday. All banking operations in America have been currently suspended. Through the Emergency Banking Act, I now have the power to reopen and close banks through the Treasury Department. The banks have been put into 4 categories. Category 1, fit to reopen. Category 2, a % of their deposits are allowed to be withdrawn. Category 3, these banks are on the brink of collapse. Category 4, these banks are not fit to open. Hey, chap, how's the sorting going?
Sir, over half the banks in America fit in the first category.
Excellent. I have no doubt that by the end of this holiday, America will once again have faith in the banking system. With Congress passing the Reforestation Relief Act, I was able to create the CCC, or the Civilian Conservation Corps. Now, with the CCC, 250,000 young unmarried men were able to be put to work, and I can only assume that more will gain work through this organization. Now, they're going to be working with reforestation, rebuilding the environment, rebuilding wildlife refuges, which pretty much combines 2 of my favorite things, helping the environment and helping this nation's economy. Margaret, what did I say from my speech for that again?
The forests are the lungs of our land, which purify our air and give fresh strength to our people, sir.
Just poetic, isn't it? Given the recent economic downturn, I decided to take America off the gold standard. This, in turn, will inflate the money supply while preventing deflation. Now, according to Keynesian economic theory, this is how to combat an economic downturn. Americans have been hoarding gold ever since the bank collapse. Now, in turn, I hope that taking all this gold back will stimulate the economy. Currently, over a quarter of this nation is unemployed. That's why I signed the Federal Emergency Relief Act, to put this nation to work. I plan on funding several federal projects, all of which will provide jobs. Oh, that reminds me. Margaret!
Yes, sir?
When do I sign the Agricultural Adjustment Act?
Today, sir.
Thank you. The Agricultural Adjustment Act, or the AAA, is how we plan on fixing the crop surplus in this country. Essentially, we'll be paying farmers to produce less. This will prevent the price from going down, despite how much we love cheap food. Margaret, did you get that stamp for me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Margaret. I do love stamps. The Tennessee Valley Authority, or the TVA, is my attempt to provide jobs for the people of the Tennessee Valley. I'll provide jobs through the construction of dams, and these dams will also provide electricity for the people of the Tennessee Valley. Bubba, where's this car taking me?
To lunch, sir.
Who's driving it?
The White House is doing a community service outreach program. You will be driven by a certified citizen, under supervision, of course.
Hi, I'm President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Who are you?
How you doing? It's Tony Tilapia, driving the President of the United States.
Today marks the 100th day since I've been elected into office. Now, these 100 days have been met with overwhelming support by Congress. Today also marks the passage of the NIRA, or the National Industrial Recovery Act. Now, this consists of the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the PWA, the Public Works Administration, and the NRA, the National Recovery Administration. The FDIC is to continue the people's trust in the banks. The government will be insuring up to $2,500 in bank deposits. The Public Works Association will provide America with employment. It will also stabilize purchasing power, contribute to the American welfare, and contribute to the revival of the American industry. It's fair to say that the American people will be put to work on big projects for big bucks. Finally, the NRA, or the National Recovery Administration, is my attempt to enact federal planning on the economy. It will combine labor, business, and the government to come together and create laws of fair practice as well as set prices. Margaret, how's your day been?
I was busy, sir.
Me too, Margaret. Me too. I have decided to implement the Civil Works Administration, or the CWA, through the use of my executive order. Now, this administration will provide millions of jobs, which is really important in this time of depression. These jobs will consist of building roads and building bridges. Hopefully it will make the lives of the employees easier and also prevent a depression like this from happening again. The Security Exchange Act has effectively established the Security and Exchange Commission, or the SEC. Now, following the stock market crash of 1929, the government has to play a larger role in maintaining and observing the economy. The SEC will regulate and oversee brokerage firms and self-regulatory organizations such as the New York Stock Exchange. Now, the SEC will also collect information from publicly traded securities. This will lead to a more stable economy and prevent a depression of this magnitude from happening again. Margaret, how much do you care about money?
A lot, sir.
Why may I help you keep it?
Oh, thank you, sir.
The WPA, or the Works Progress Administration, is my attempt to put this nation to work. Now, the people working on the WPA will be working on building bridges, public parks, public buildings, as well as airports. It should employ millions of unemployed Americans, and this country will be one step closer to recovery. Margaret, can you run me a bath?
Yes, sir. Would you like me to accompany you?
Not today, Margaret. My wife's home.
Very good, sir. Very good.
There are currently a large number of unemployed youth in this country, and youth with nothing to do can only lead to bad things. Now, that's why I implemented the NYA, or the National Youth Administration, where we put youth ages 16 to 25 to work.
Hey, champ, how's the training going?
Oh, I'm learning a boatload, sir.
That's the point.
The National Youth Administration will provide 2 courses for the youth, in conjunction with lessons on reading, writing, and arithmetic. The Works Project program will train unemployed out-of-work youth, while the Student Aid program will provide job training for those students in high school, college, and graduate school. The National Labor Relations Act, or the Wagner Act, is intended to give more rights to the employee. It's intended to ban unfair practices in the private sector. It's intended to prevent employers from interfering with their workers' right to unionize. And it's also intended to establish a National Labor Relations Board, which will enforce this law. The Wagner Act is the first of its kind, making it the first official document to recognize and support the right to organize. With the right to organize, workers will seek advancements and contribute to the growth of the middle class. The old and unemployed in this country are suffering. Many do not have enough money to survive. That's why I created the Social Security Act. It's a federal insurance program based off the collection of taxes from the currently employed throughout their careers. The Social Security Act will establish a trust fund so that when a person retires at the age of 65, they receive the money they put away. The young people of today typically don't think about their future, but with the Social Security Act, the government is thinking about their future for them. Children of today have no thought for the future. Isn't that right, Margaret?
Oh, I agree, sir.
Back in my day, the Supreme Court has been thwarting the will of the nation. Therefore, I think we should take steps to improve the court system and its efficiency. I think we should add judges to every level of the court system, as well as implement new procedures to expedite the appeal process. With this, essentially, I'm adding a judge for every judge that refuses to retire from the Supreme Court. Now, with this new court system, I have complete faith, and it will also help my New Deal policies. What makes you qualified to be a Supreme Court Justice?
Well, I support your program, sir.
Very good answer. After my court packing idea, I lost a lot of support for the New Deal. Instead, the nation's focus turned to international defense. Given the tense international situation and the war going on in Europe, the best thing we can do right now is protect ourselves.
So you have a call from Neville Chamberlain?
I feel as if this war will have a large effect on America.